Try boldly and practice leads to true knowledge. Wang Yangming's father, Wang Hua, was the top student in high school in the imperial examination, in Chenghua 17 years, 1481. Soon after he became an official in Beijing, he received Wang Yangming to live in the capital. Wang Hua has made good arrangements for his son's daily life and studies. He believes that Wang Yangming should study and take the imperial examination like himself, and then go into an official career and glorify his ancestors. Although the young Wang Yangming followed his father's arrangement, he had something else in mind. In his opinion, studying and taking exams is not necessarily the first important thing in life, but reading and being a sage is the first important thing. After setting up his ambition, Wang Yangming began to explore the way to become a sage. He tried Ma Zhuangguan at the age of 15, studied the Confucianism of the Song dynasty at the age of 17, and then pursued the realm of psychology. In the constant attempts and breakthroughs, Wang Yangming gradually realized and finally established the theory of mind. In daily life, many people are arranged by parents' expectations from an early age, such as which school you studied in when you were a child, what kind of career you are engaged in when you grow up, and what kind of family you set up. Too much time in the first half of life has been arranged and planned by parents before people can think about it. There is no chase, no attempt, not even setback or failure. Everything is going on step by step. However, in such an arrangement, people's inner wishes are ignored and their dreams are buried. Although they go smoothly, they are not real. Because in this smooth journey, people lack the failure of an attempt and a deep understanding of personal experience. The famous tiger painter of the 5 dynasties loved to draw tigers from an early age, but since he had never seen a real tiger, others always laughed at him for painting the tiger as a sick cat, so he decided to go into the mountains and forests to find the real tiger. He experienced untold hardships. Later, with the help of Orion, he finally saw the real tiger. Through a large number of sketches of real tigers, his techniques of painting tigers are advancing by leaps and bounds, and the tigers in his paintings are lifelike. He was inspired by the tiger painting, then spent most of his life visiting many famous mountains and rivers, and finally became a generation of master painter. Practice brings true knowledge, and so is painting. If Li Gizhen is confined to his study, and does not see a real tiger, no matter how hard he tries, he can only draw a tiger that looks like a cat. Only by really observing the tiger can we make the tiger I draw alive. Hearing is not as good as seeing. Practice can promote the distance between success and success. We often hear the advice of our elders that the wisdom of life, that has been tested over the years and finally proved to be correct, is enough to make our life a broad road. However, shouldn't our lives be left to us to come out step by step? It is correct to learn from the experiences and lessons of our predecessors, but if we have not experienced a bold attempt, or groped for it with our own practice, it will be difficult to surpass our predecessors' achievements and create an unprecedented cause. Just like walking, we can only get to know each other after walking for a while, and only when we are covered with thorns can we deeply understand the hardships of overcoming difficulties. Explore our potential, find ways to overcome difficulties, and take this as a lesson to gradually accumulate, in order to reach a higher and farther place than our predecessors. In a village, there is a fisherman who has first-class fishing skills, and is known as the Fishing King. Every time he goes out fishing, he always gains the most. However, the Fishing King was very upset because his 3 sons' fishing skills were mediocre. So the Fish King often asks people, "Tell the distress in my heart, I really don't understand. My fishing skills are so good. Why are my sons so poor? I have taught them fishing skills since they were sensible, starting with the most basic things, telling them how to weave a net to catch fish, how to row the most undisturbed fish, and how to get out of the net is the easiest to hire fish earns." When they grew up, I taught them how to recognize the tides and distinguish the fish season. All the experience I have learned from my hard work over the years has been taught to them without reservation. But their fishing skills have failed to catch up with the sons of fishermen whose skills are worse than mine. Every time, the people in the village will express their regret after listening to it. One day, a passing old man listened to his story and asked, "Have you been teaching them hand in hand?" The Fish King said, "Yes, in order for them to learn first-class fishing skills. I taught them very carefully and patiently." The old man asked, "Have they been following you? Have you made any mistakes?" The Fish King replied, "Yes. In order to make them take fewer detours, I have always let them learn from me. When fishing, there is nothing wrong with their methods, and they have never made any mistakes, but they always catch less fish than others." The old man thought for a moment and said with emotion, "It seems that the reason is very obvious. They only know how to seriously learn the skills you teach them, but they do not sum up their own failure lessons and successful experiences in the process of fishing. If you go on learning in this way, it will not only be difficult to reach the same level as you, but also more difficult to surpass you and achieve higher achievements." It is true that the fishing technique of the Fish King is excellent, but his method is not necessarily suitable for his 3 sons. It is necessary to learn basic skills, but what is more important is to try boldly in the process of learning and sum up your own experiences and lessons in the process of practice. Only in this way can you have some consciousness and find a set of methods that are really suitable for you, in order to go further and achieve something. The experience of others can only be used for reference, not applied mechanically to yourself. Only when you try and practice by yourself can you have a deeper experience and master the most useful method for yourself. People should dare to try boldly and realize a life wisdom that really belongs to them and suits them in practice. Confucianism has emphasized the importance of honesty and credit since ancient times. In his reply to his disciple, Wang Yangming said that it was an extremely important aspect of treating others with sincerity without first suspecting other people's fraud, doubting other people's dishonesty, and using the skill of giving conscience to avoid being deceived by others. On the other hand, to fulfill the promise with their own practical actions, in order to show the heart of integrity. Honesty and trustworthiness is not only the traditional virtue, handed down by the Chinese nation for thousands of years, but also the basic criterion of being a man. Zhengzi is a student of Confucius. Once, Zhengzi's wife was going to go to the market. because the child was crying. She promised to kill the pig for him when he came back. When Zengzi's wife came back from the market, Zengzi wanted to catch a pig to kill. The wife stopped him and said, "I was just playing with my children. How could you really do it?" Zengzi said, "You can't joke about what you promised your child. Children are not sensible. Learn everything from their parents and listen to their parents' teachings. Now if you cajole him, you are teaching your children to lie." So Zengzi resolutely killed the pig. Mr. Liang Shuming, a modern scholar, once said that the greatest feature of Chinese culture is that people share strong feelings with each other. That is to say, the feelings between people are very deep. This deep relationship can only last long on the basis of mutual trust. As the common saying goes, do what you say. And real action is the best proof of your promise. If you only boast in words and make promises, but you can't prove them with practical actions, even if you can be deceived for a while, it will be difficult to deceive you forever. Wang Yangming advocates the unity of knowledge and practice. True knowledge must act, and real action must also achieve the purpose of knowledge. As the saying goes, we must keep our words, be sure of our deeds, and be responsible for our promises with practical actions. This is the wisdom left to us by the sages, which is not only a matter of personal moral cultivation, but also related to the sense of social responsibility. Nowadays, everyone hopes to build an honest society, but few people can follow the principle of promises must be kept, and deeds must be done, all their lives. And some even use white lies as a cover for breaking their promises. With the development of human society, although it has entered an era of high civilization, both the governance of the country and the field of academic research have made more remarkable achievements than in the past. However, the degree of trust between people is immeasurably low. Looking back at history, the ancients attached great importance to honesty and believed that words must be believed and deeds must be done, is the act of a gentleman, and a word is difficult to chase, can be called a man's move. In order to take action to fulfill the promise made at that time, Zhang Kui did not hesitate to give up his life at the cost of his life. In return for the sincerity of his old friend, he also accompanied him with his life. Although this may not be true, but the story between Zhang and Fan can be spread to this day, highly respected. The value lies in that life is precious, sincere and valuable way of life. In life, we often make promises. At the same time, we need to support our commitments with practical actions. If a temporary breach of faith is regarded as an innocuous mistake, then it will eventually create a regret that cannot be made up for in a lifetime. Breaking one's promise will not only erode a person's conscience, but also make him lose the trust of others, and life becomes dim. Only those who can keep their words and deeds can gain the trust and respect of others, stand on the shoulders of giants and achieve great achievements. His life will shine brightly as a result.